My name is Vivek Kumar Verma. I am an assistant professor in department of Aviation Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today I will teach you the topic data transfer instructions of subject microprocessor and microcontroller, and the subject code is 602. So in 8085 we have 76 instructions. 76 instructions. Sometimes it is written as 74, but it is 76 instructions, and these instructions can be classified either as a data transfer instructions or as a arithmetic instructions, logical instructions, branching instructions, or machine control instructions. So we will see each type of instructions one by one. So today we will discuss all those instructions which are used for transferring data from one place to other. So if we talk about data transfer instructions, so the first instruction is move. The first instruction is move. So instead of remembering all the instructions, if we know the addressing mode of the instructions, we have to learn very few instructions. For example, if we talk about the instruction move, the move is written as move destination comma source. Here source can be register, source can be memory, or it can be data, immediate data. In the same manner, the destination can be register, it can be memory. So based on this, we have following instruction in the case of move instruction. This instruction will be move if the destination is register. So if we say destination is register, the source can be register. If the destination is register, source can be memory. If the destination is register, source can be immediate data. So in the case of immediate data, we have to we have to uh, we have to write a MBI instructions. MBI instructions. So MBI register immediate data. Now the destination is memory. Then the instruction will be move memory comma register register, and there will be no instruction in which both the destination as well as source is memory, as well as there is no instruction in which destination is memory and source is data. So we have four type of instructions for move instructions. Okay. So we will see one by one instruction and discuss it accordingly. So if we see here, as I already told you initially, that the source can be register, it can be memory, or it can be immediate data. Destination can be register or it can be memory. So if we take example of move uh, RD here means destination register, RS means the source register. Registers can be B, C, D, E, H, L. For example, if I write move B comma C, B comma C, it will move the data of C register onto the B register. In the same manner, if I write move RD comma M, example, if we take like move A comma M. So what will it do? It will move the content of memory location that is indirectly specified as a part of instruction and move to the corresponding accumulator. So in the last lecture, I also told you how you can calculate the machine cycle and number of byte. So in the first case, the number of byte will be 1 and machine cycle will be 1 because it is only opcode. And in the second case, again, in this case, the number of byte will be 1 and machine cycle will be 2, because the first machine cycle will be, in this case, second case, opcode fetch, and the second machine cycle will be memory read. Memory read. So in the most of the case, I have already discussed that opcode fetch have 4 T state and memory read has 3 T state. So overall we have 70 state. So in this manner, we can calculate number of machine cycle as well as number of T state of our instructions. So these are the examples that we can see in this. So examples also given here. Now, if we talk about MBI, MBI means MBI immediate data. MBI have two cases: move immediate data to the register, as well as we can also move immediate data to the memory. Means this. So, example, if we take example, in the first case, the example will be MBI B comma, for example, if we have 20, 24, then what it will do, it will move the 24 data to the B register. In the second case, the example will be MBI M, MBI M, for example, data is 02, but it will do, it will move to data 02 on the memory location, which is indirectly specified. Here M means whenever you find such instruction MBI M comma 02 M, M means its address will be always in the HL register pair. For example, if HL has address 2000H, so it means M have a address 2000H, which is directly specified as a part of the instruction. Then what we'll do, the data that is 2 is move on this location. Sorry, on this location. 2 it will be moved on this location. So if we talk about number of byte, so it is having 2 byte, one is opcode, one is operand. So it is 2 byte instruction, and it is having 2 machine cycle. Machine cycle means if we see the number byte, so there always as many as machine cycle as the number of bytes. For example, if it is a 2 byte instruction, then there will be a 2 machine cycle. One machine cycle is opcode fetch, another is memory read, and we will try to find another machine cycle depending upon whether we are carrying the operation from the memory or input device. So if we taking data from the outside, then we will count it as a machine cycle. Otherwise, if we carrying operation within the processor, then it will not count it as a machine cycle. So in the first case, it is a 2 byte instruction. It is having 2 machine cycle. One is opcode fetch, and another is we have to again read this data from the memory location, that is memory read. So it is having a 4 T state, 3 T state, and it will take a 70 state. So we can see in the first section it will take 2 machine cycle and number of T state equal to 7. But in the second case, it is having 2 byte. So there is at least 2 machine cycle. One is opcode fetch, and another one is memory read. So I give you a hint how we can calculate a machine cycle. For example, if it is 3 byte instructions, so there will be at least 3 machine cycle. One is opcode fetch, memory read, and there will be, and we'll find the probability of other machine cycle depending upon whether we are working for the data that is outside the processor, means either we are reading or writing the data from memory or input output device. So if you are doing any operation outside the device, then we will count it as a machine cycle. So in this case, we have a 2 byte instruction. So at least there will be a 2 machine cycle, opcode fetch, memory read. But we have to find a probability. Is there is any operation that is carrying outside? So yes, we are moving this data to this location. It means we are writing data to this memory location, and this memory is outside the processor. So we have another machine cycle That is memory write. Memory write. This is a very good tricky things that I discuss you, and you can apply this trick to any instruction, and you can find the corresponding machine cycle as well as T state. So in this case, we have a 4 opcode fetch, 3 machine read cycle, 3 memory write. So it have a 10 T state. Now these are the examples that are already given. Now another instruction we will study here. We will study LDA, that is called load data load. This is given as LDA, and LDA address. Address means, like for example, if it is given as 2000, but it will load the data from this location, given location, to the accumulator. Okay, this is LDA, and it is having a 4 machine cycle, having a 13 key state. So it is having a now we will see it is having a 3 byte. One is opcode, and there is a higher byte, another is again high byte, is 1 2 3 byte. So there is a at least 3 machine cycle. There will be at least 3 machine cycle: opcode fetch, memory read. Now we will see, is there any other operations that is carrying out in this instructions. It is reading data from the memory, so that's why it is memory read. So how many machine cycle it have? It is opcode fetch, memory read, again memory read, and again memory read. Memory read. This is the operation that is carried by the instructions. So opcode fetch have 40 state, 333 means 339, 9 plus 4, 13 state. So you can find how easily we can find out the number of machine cycle as well as T states. Now after LDA, LDA is basically, if I asked which addressing modes this instruction supports, since the address is directly specified as a part of the instruction, so it is a case of direct addressing mode. Direct addressing mode. Now another instruction is LDAX. This LDAX instruction is same as the upper one instruction, but here now the address is not given directly, but it is given in the register pair. Means address in the register pair means it is hidden. So whenever the address is hidden, then it is a case of indirect addressing mode. Indirect addressing mode. Indirect addressing mode. So if we see the example, we can see here. For example, if LDX B is given, so B means register pair, that is BC. So BC have value 250. It will telling that load, what load? The data from the memory location, that is 2050, that is in the BC register pair, and load this data means load this data from this location on the accumulator. Okay. So for example, this location I have 9F. So after this instruction, the accumulator will have a 9F value. So this instruction is same as LDA, but now the addressing mode is different. It is indirect addressing mode. And now we talk about how many byte. It is having a 1 byte instruction, but it is having 2 machine cycle. One is opcode fetch and another is memory read, because we are reading the memory location and read the data from there and move to the accumulator. Now another instruction is LHLD. LHLD, what will LHLD do? It will load. It will load the data from the given address to the L register and from the next memory location to the H register. So we will see example here. For example, if we have a memory location, if we have an instruction LHLD 2050, so what it will do? From in 2050 it have data 90, and in 2051 it have a data 01. So after the instruction, this 90 will move to the L register, and memory then increment by 1, and from that location it is having 01, it is moving to H register. So it will load from two memory location and put the data on the H register pair. Lower from lower address to L register and from higher address to H register. So if we talk about machine cycle, since it is having a 3 byte instruction, so obvious it have three machine cycle at least. That is opcode fetch, memory read, memory read. Now we will see what the operation it is carried out. We are reading the data from this location and moving to L register, and from this location to H register. Again, memory read means it is having a five machine cycle. Five machine cycle means opcode fetch, memory read, again memory read, again memory read, again memory read. So 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, and 3 4 are 12, 12 plus 4 16. It is having a 16 T state. You can see here. So you can find out how easily we can find out the number of machine cycle as well as the number of T state in the corresponding instructions. Now another instruction is LXI. LXI load register pair immediate. So this instruction is used to load the register pair with the 16-bit data. This is the only one instruction which is used to load the 16-bit data on the register pair. Register pair means BC, DE, HL as well as stack pointer. Okay. For example, if we see here, if I write LXI B2050, then what will be happen? It will move the data 2050 on this register, and it will have a value 2050, means 20 on the B and 50 on the C register. Now STA instruction, the STA is called store, like in the previous slides we had seen two instructions, that is LDA and LDAX. LDAX, which are loading the data from the given memory location that is directly specified or indirectly specified into the accumulator. Now, if we want to store data from accumulator to the memory location, so we have corresponding instruction STA and STAX. It is same as LD, LDX. In this, it is loading data from memory, and in this, we are storing data from accumulator to the corresponding memory, and this memory is directly specified in this case and indirectly specified in this instruction. So if we have a ST2050, it is given STA and address. If we take an example STA2050, what it will do, it will move the data from accumulator to the corresponding memory location. So in the same manner, we have a STS instruction, and if we talk about machine cycle, it will have same machine cycle as we talk about LDA and LDX. So STX, in this, the address in the register pair. For example, if we talk about STXB, it means the address in BC register pair. For example, if the address is 200H, then what will it do? It will move the content of accumulator on the given address which is in the this register pair. Now, so you can also see the example here. For example, if BC have a value this value 2050, this is address, and accumulator have value F9, then it will move the value of F9 on this memory location 2050. Now, as we had seen instruction LHLD, in which LHLD 16-bit address, in which we are moving the data from the given address to the L register and from the next memory location to the H register. In the same manner, we have a SHLD. In this, we are doing opposite work to the LHLD. Means we are moving, if we have a instruction SHLD, 16-bit address, it will move the data of L register on the given address and H register on the next memory location. So we have discussed the machine cycle in LHLD, and the SHLD also have a same machine cycle as HLD. Yes, it is a 5 machine cycle and solar T state. But now machine cycle will be changed in terms of, in the case of LHLD we have a output fetch, memory read, memory read, memory read, memory read. But in the case of SHLD, now you have a output fetch, memory read, memory read. Now it will be memory write and memory write. So you can see example also here. We have a location 2050, and we are moving this data LL to this location, and the value of H register on this next location 205. SPHL. SPHL, what it will do, it will load the content of HL register pair on the stack pointer. So whatever the value of HL register pair, this 16-bit value will copy on the stack pointer. Copy on the stack pointer. So this is an instruction, very simple instruction. It is having only 1 byte instruction and 1 machine cycle. Why it is 1 machine cycle? Because HL as well as SP both are the part of the microprocessor. So we are moving the data within the microprocessor, and for example, HL is a part of the microprocessor. SP is also part of the microprocessor, and I also told you that if we doing any operation within the processor, then it will not count it as a machine cycle. So it is only have a 1 machine cycle, that is output fetch. Now XCSG, this instruction is used for exchanging the data between HL register pair and DE. So what it will do? What it will do? It will exchange the data between the HL register pair and DE. For example, if it is having value 2050, it is having 1358. So if we write XCSG, what we will do? The data of DE move to this, and 2050 move to DE register pair. Means after this instruction, the HL will have 1358 and DE have 2050. Now XTHL. This is in this instruction that if we talk about machine cycle, it is difficult to tell how many machine cycle it have, but by a little trick we can find out how many machine cycle it will take. For example, it is having a 1 byte instruction, so only we can say at least 1 machine cycle it have, that is output fetch. But if we see, it is having a 5 machine cycle, so it is very difficult to find other machine cycles. So first of all, we will see what work it is doing. So what is work is doing? It is XTHL instruction. We will see here in the example. XTHL will XTHL will exchange the exchange the data exchange the data from the stack in such a manner. For example, if a stack pointer has a value 2095, it is pointing this location, and this location have value 38. This 38 will exchange with the L register pair, and after that stack pointer will be incremented by 1. The address will be 2096, and the content of that location will exchange with the H register. Okay, so after execution of this section, what will happen? Now this 38 will move to the L register pair, and this 57 will move on this stack location, and in the same manner, in the next memory location, the content 67 will move to the H register pair, and the content of A2 will move to the next memory location. So we are exchanging the data from the stack with the HL register pair. Okay. So now question is that how many machine cycle it is having. So if we see, whenever we do exchange, we require a one variable. So because if we try to write 57 on this location, then this data will be lost out. So before this, we have to save this data. So what we will do, we will read this data and move to the internal register of the processor, that is W register. I already talk about this internal register, W and Z registers. They are part of the microprocessor, but we cannot access it. So they are used for that purpose. So but what it will do, it will move the 38 data to the W register. That is, it is saved here. Now we can move this data on this location. So first machine cycle will be opcode fetch, and second machine cycle will be we are reading this location and moving to the this internal temp register. So we are reading this data, that is memory read. Now after that, we are moving this data to this location, that is memory write. So it means for one exchange, we have to do two machine cycle, memory read and memory write. Memory write. Now, in the same manner, if we see here, this data again move to the internal register Z, means memory read, and then we move this data A2 on this location, that is memory write. Memory write. So how many machine cycle it have? Opcode fetch have 4 to state, 3, 3, 3, 3, means 3 for the 12, 12 for the 16. So we can see here, we can see here clearly, it is having 5 machine cycle and 16 T state. So by applying the trick that I already told you, as well as and by applying the logic, you can find easily the number of T state as well as machine cycle. Now, after that, we will study how we can move the data to the stack. Means we can write data on the stack, as well as we can read the data from the stack. So what is stack? Stack is a group of memory location within the memory which are used to store temporary data, as well as the return address, as well as the value of registers. For example, if we talk about when we store the return address, for example, in the main program, whenever we call a subroutine or function, so the address of the next instruction in the main program will be stored on the stack. So whenever it will return from the subroutine, it will take out this next instruction address onto the program counter and again start executing the program. Okay. For example, like I'm giving here, for example, I say call 2065. This is a location of subroutine, and this is a we are calling subroutine who is having address 2065, and this instruction is written as in a this location 200H. Okay, so it is 3 byte instruction, so it will take 3 memory location, and if the next instruction of the main program has value move a comma b, and this will be written as 2003s, because this is 2 byte instruction. So 200, 201, 202, the address of the next instruction will be 2003H. So what it will do, whenever we call a subroutine who's having the location 2065, it is a subroutine written here. So what it will do, it will store this instruction, the address of the next instruction. This is a main program. This is a main program. So it will store the value of the address of the next instruction onto the stack. How? For example, if a stack pointer have value 2099H. So first of all, it will decrement the stack pointer by 1. It will become 2098H and store the value of higher byte, that is 20H, on this location. After that, again it is decremented by 1, that is 2097, and it will store the lower address. And after that, this value actually in the program counter. So program counter will be stored on the stack. But we will do now, it will load the value of program counter with this value. Is now PC will load this value 2065, and now your program will be start executing the subroutine. After completing the subroutine, when you get the instruction RET means now it is time to return from the subroutine. So what will you do? It will copy this value. It will copy this value again on the program counter, and it will again start executing from this location onward in the main program. So this is a way how we can store the return address using a stack. So stack is used to store a return address, as well as it also store the value of registers. Okay. For storing the value of registers, we use the instruction push, and and if we want to retrieve this value, we use instruction pop. So for moving the data of register pair onto the stack, we are using the instruction push, and for popping the instruction, retrieving the instruction, we are using the instruction pop. So how it will work? It is a 1 byte instruction, and it having 3 machine cycle. 3 machine cycle means, for example, I will take example, then I will explain you. For example, because push is always used with the register pairs. So register pair means BC, DE, HL, and PSW. You are not aware of PSW. PSW is called a program status word. It is basically a register having two 8-bit value. One is accumulator, other is flag register. So PSW is made of two registers, accumulator and flag registers. So it can store the value of register pair on the stack. How? For example, if uh, BC register pair have value 3257 and stack pointer has value 2099H. So whenever we do push B means we are pushing the data of BC register pair onto the stack. So how the data is pushed on the stack? First of all, stack pointer will be decremented by 1. It will become 2098, and it will push the value of 32 on this location. After that, again stack pointer will be decremented by 1. Now the location will be 2097, and will push the data of C onto this value. So in this manner, we can push the data of registers. Now the question arises, why we are pushing the value of registers here? Because registers are limited within the microprocessor. Suppose if we want to use the registers in the subroutines, so and we are using the same registers just in the main program. So when we are using same register in a subroutine, so may happen your value will overwrite. So before using the same register, you have to store the initial value of register onto the stack so that you can use freshly in the subroutine. And after completing the subroutine, when you return back to the main program, then you can retrieve the old value of register pair from the stack. And for this, we will use the pop instruction. So in the next topic, we will see how the pop works. Pop is basically retrieving the value from the stack. How it is retrieving the value, we will see from the example. For example, if we write a pop h, pop is again work with the register pair. Okay. So if we do pop h, and the value of stack pointer is, for example, if the value of stack pointer is 2090. So whenever we pop h, it means we are moving the F5 value, F5 value onto the L register pair, means and the 2090 location having value F5, which is pointed by a stack pointer, will move to the register L. After that, stack pointer will be incremented by 1 automatically, and from this location the data move on this H register, and after moving, stack pointer again incremented by 1, and it became 2092. Okay, so in this manner we can retrieve the value of registers from the given stack. Okay, now two more instructions are left with this uh, data transfer instruction. One is in and other is out. So in means When we want to take the data, read data from input device, so we have an instruction in, and we have to specify the corresponding port address of the input device. So, for example, if I write in 20H, it means the device is having the address 20H will move the data to the accumulator. Okay, because in and out both instruction, in as well as out, both instructions are used. Both instructions are used in in peripheral mapped IO. Peripheral mapped IO. Mapped IO. Okay, and in peripheral mapped IO we are using 8-bit address. So that's why it always have 8-bit address. So it is a 2-byte instruction. Why it is 2-byte? Because it is having 2 byte. One is this opcode, another one is operand. So 1 and 2 2-byte instruction. If we talk about machine cycle, obvious it is having at least 2 machine cycle. One is opcode fetch, and another one is memory read. Memory read. Now we will see what is the operation it is carrying out. It is reading the data from the port and moving to the accumulator. Third machine cycle, because we are taking data from the input device that is outside from the processor, it means it will count it as a machine cycle. So the next machine cycle will be IO read. IO read. So if we talk about T state, it will be 4T, 3T, 3T is 4 plus 3 7, 7 plus 3 10. So it is having 10 T states. So in this manner, we can say how easily we can find out the machine cycle as well as T state of any instructions. Only these two instructions in and out having the input output read and input output write machine cycle, and no other instruction have this input output read and input write machine cycle. Okay, now in the last section we will see the out instruction. So this out instruction is basically give doing work opposite to the in instruction. It will move data from the accumulator to the specified port. For example, if the output port have an address 40H, what it will move the data from the accumulator to the given device which are having address 40H. Okay. So again, if we talk about machine cycle, it is having a 3 machine cycle: opcode fetch, opcode fetch. Second one is memory read. Third one is IO write. IO write. So this is all about today's instructions that we have discussed for data transfer instructions, and we in this we had seen that how we can find out the number of machine cycle as well as T state, and we also seen what is the work that is carried out by each instructions. Thank you.